For most of the Ukraine war, President Volodymyr Zelensky has made it clear that Ukraine needs one thing more than anything else: Patriots, a lot of them. His problem is that Patriot missiles and the launchers required to fire them are hard to come by as Russia batters Ukraine's air defenses. But now, Ukraine has come up with a complementary system. Even the US is stunned, as a Ukrainian startup's new $10,000 drone Mothership offers a striking offensive capability alongside the US's $5 million Patriot missiles. On May 29, Euromaidan Press reported that a Ukrainian startup business named Strategy Force Solutions is on the verge of changing the Ukraine war forever. How? That startup has launched a semi-autonomous drone that's capable of striking so deep into Russian territory that it's rewriting the rules of modern warfare forever. In what the outlet dubs a historic military breakthrough, this drone may soon transform how Ukraine carries out strikes against Russia. The key lies in its serving as a mothership. Strategy Force Solutions' new weapon is capable of carrying several smaller drones, which it can unleash on a target at will. Dubbed GOGOL-M, the drone uses artificial intelligence, or AI, along with these smaller drones to allow Ukraine to do just as much damage with unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, as it does with powerful missiles like the Patriot. That's huge for Ukraine for a simple reason. A single Patriot missile costs between $3 million and $5 million. Ukraine's new drone only costs $10,000, around 0.2% of the price of the most expensive Patriot missiles. And that's not all. The new UAV isn't some pie-in-the-sky idea that might come to fruition in a couple of years. According to the Strategy Force Solutions CTO, it's already being deployed and is proving effective in operations. That CTO, who only goes by the handle of Andre, with no second name provided, explains the basics of his new invention to Forbes. He says the mothership he's created, which is reusable, can deliver two first-person view or FPV drones to any target Ukraine wants to hit up to a distance of around 186 miles. For context, a Patriot missile has an operational range of about 99 miles, though it's often lower based on how the missile is launched and what it's intended to hit. The idea is to create leverage. The larger mothership protects the two smaller FPV drones as it quietly makes its way toward a target. Upon arrival, the new drone unleashes its attacking force, with the FPV drones only having a short distance to travel before delivering their explosive payload to whatever Ukraine wants to hit. Andre says that this new approach opens up the opportunity for Ukraine to precisely attack key Russian equipment, such as parked aircraft, air defense units, and even infrastructure. According to Andre, these types of attacks are already happening. The Strategy Force Solutions CTO says that he can't release any imagery of the attacks that have already taken place, likely because Ukraine wants to keep its new drone capabilities under wraps. Still, he outlines why his invention is so effective. By pairing them, small FPV-type drones, with AI mothership drones, we can guarantee precision strikes. Andre seems to be implying that Ukraine's mothership drone is at least partially taking human operators out of the equation, which leads to an obvious question: how does the new drone work? The basics are already established. Gogol-M is capable of flying around 180 miles into Russian territory before unleashing a pair of FPV drones to attack a target. However, it's the AI that Andre mentions that may be its most impressive feature. Gogol-M is powered by a software system named Smart Pilot, which is an onboard AI that essentially acts as a human pilot would act. Using an array of sensors which combine data pulled from cameras, lasers, and other forms of communication, that AI pilot can navigate the Gogol-M mothership even when other navigational data may be absent. This means Smart Pilot allows the drone to reach its target even when Russia is employing electronic jamming to prevent radio and GPS signals from reaching the drone. In other words, the technologies Russia uses to send traditional drones off course don't work against Gogol-M. In some ways, it's like a self-driving car, Andre explains. But to make the AI system work, Andre and his team had to make the new drone as light as possible. They did that using light detection and ranging, or LiDAR. According to the National Ocean Service, LiDAR is a remote sensing technology that's typically used to examine the Earth's surface. The technology leverages light in the form of a pulsed laser to measure a system's distance from the Earth. Combined with other sensors, such as the cameras built into Goggle-M, these lasers allow the LiDAR to create a precise 3D map of the surface being scanned, which can then be used for navigation. The National Ocean Service uses the technology to create accurate shoreline maps that it uses in its geographic information systems. Goggle-M uses it to scan the ground below, both to create terrain maps and to potentially identify threats it can confront. The drone's LiDAR setup functions in many lighting and weather conditions, making Goggle-M suitable for a wide range of tactical operations. Forbes even provides a quote from one of the system's operators, who says, "It feels like a video game. I set the waypoint and watch it work." That offers another hint about how Goggle-M works. It appears that the drone operator doesn't have to steer the UAV directly. Instead, they receive the 3D maps that the mothership generates, which the operator can then scan for areas of interest. Once an area is identified, the operator clicks on the map and Goggle-M automatically flies towards the waypoint that's just been created. That process resembles a video game fast travel system. Click on where you want to go and wait for the game to take you there. That's how Goggle-M works, only instead of taking a player to a new area, it takes itself toward a new target. With Smart Pilot, it was really a serious challenge how to imitate a flight of the drone the way it would be remotely controlled by a pilot. Andre tells Forbes how to maneuver around obstacles with the limitations of the processor in real time. LiDAR provided the answers to those problems, allowing for the creation of a system that enables autonomous flight, navigation, and engagement without GPS and without constant operator control, Andre claims. So, it's clear that Ukraine's new drone mothership is smart, but it offers so much more than a clever use of AI. For one, Goggle-M is built for stealthy approaches to a target. The drone is capable of quietly flying near an enemy target without engaging it directly. That in turn means that Goggle-M can avoid air defense systems by landing on the ground. There, it waits for hours or even days if necessary, until the perfect moment to strike presents itself. When that moment comes, the mothership unleashes its FPV drones, which hit home on their targets before those targets have a chance to react. Andre calls this his drone's autonomous ambush mode, and it's a potential game changer for Ukraine. The reason is that this ability to ambush transforms the way that Ukraine can attack targets using drones. Think about the traditional method for a moment. A normal drone strike sees Ukraine send one of its FPV drones flying across a large distance to confront a target. There's no real timing involved beyond knowing that the target is there. Once the drone arrives, its operator has to react to whatever threats present themselves as they try to steer the drone into the target. The chances of the drone getting shot down or intercepted increase. In many cases, FPV drones are prevented from ever reaching their targets by electronic jamming. None of that is a problem for Goggle-M. It's capable of approaching the target from outside of visual range, essentially sneaking up on the target as the operator observes. It's only when the precise moment for a strike emerges that the mothership's FPV drones are unleashed. Russia simply won't have a chance to react unless it somehow catches the Goggle-M on its way to an ambush location. The reusable aspect of the drone also promises to present plenty of problems to Russia. Again, compare Goggle-M to a traditional Kamikaze drone here, such as Russia's Shaheeds. Those types of drones are single-use because they're designed to destroy themselves when they hit a target. The same goes for the FPV drones loaded into Goggle-M. However, once those drones are deployed, Goggle-M can fly back to base, get reloaded with drones, and then head back toward a new target. That's massive when it comes to launching attacks against Russian infrastructure and military assets. Rather than hoping that a single Kamikaze drone can do enough damage to such targets, Ukraine can use Goggle-M to strike and observe from a safe distance. If more hits are needed, Goggle-M comes back, gathers more drones, and then sneaks back to where the target is located to deliver even more firepower. Russia has nothing similar in its arsenal, and the reason why is simple. The The idea for Goggle-M came to Andrei when he was just a boy. The developer tells Forbes that he first thought of the Goggle-M concept when he saw a woman in uniform simply walking down a railway line miles away from any settlement. Andrei's father told him that the woman was scanning the tracks for any issues that could lead to a train derailing. The first thought that popped into Andrei's head was that this was a tedious job that ought to be done by a robot. Once he'd grown up, Andrei got to work on this very robot. He started by creating smart drones that are capable of flying over power lines, oil pipelines and similar infrastructure to check for problems that might take hours for a human to discover. Those scanning drones uploaded data relating to possible issues, including the precise locations of those issues, to engineers who then went out to fix the problem. Andrei's work on his robots was interrupted when Putin invaded Ukraine in February 2022. Now, the fingerprints of his initial idea are all over the Goggle-M. Where Andrei's previous drone scanned infrastructure for potential issues, Goggle-M uses cameras and LiDAR to scan the terrain. And where Andrei's other drones call for engineers to fix problems, Goggle-M handles the problems it detects itself using FPV drones. It's a brilliant adaptation of a concept that showcases how innovation has played such a key role in Ukraine's defense against Russia. And it's an innovation that couldn't have come soon enough for a simple reason. It offers Ukraine a complement to the Patriot missile batteries upon which it has relied for much of the war. Massive aerial assaults have been part of Putin's strategy ever since he launched his supposed special military operation. According to the Center for Strategic and International Studies, or CSIS, Putin fired 11,466 missiles at Ukraine between September 2022 and September 2024. Ukraine had to rely on its air defense systems, such as the Patriot, to intercept those missiles, and it's been doing a good job. CSIS says that Ukraine intercepted 83.5% of the missiles Russia fired during this period. However, 83.5% isn't 100%. That interception rate still leaves 1,821.89 missiles that have managed to break through Ukraine's defenses to touch down on their targets. The effects have been devastating. Beyond Russia's constant attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure, Putin uses his missiles to wreak havoc on Ukraine cities. As of April 30, 2025, these missiles, along with drones, glide bombs, and Russia's many other weapons, have caused 13,134 civilian deaths and 31,867 civilian injuries. That's without even considering the military deaths that Russia's aerial bombardments have caused. For over 3 years, the Patriot has been one of Ukraine's key defenses against Putin's aerial assaults. Ukraine's problem is that it doesn't have enough Patriots or missiles available, and Zelensky knows it. As of the beginning of 2025, Ukraine has 6 operational Patriot batteries, 2 each from the US and Germany, 1 from Romania, and 1 jointly contributed by the Netherlands and Germany. Furthermore, the Netherlands provided a partial battery, though that currently isn't usable until Ukraine can get the components to complete it. According to Zelensky, Ukraine needs a lot more to provide the country with full defenses against Russia's aerial assaults. In April, following a Russian airstrike that killed 19 people, including 9 children, Zelensky said, "You know that Ukraine has a shortage of air defense systems. You know that Patriot systems can effectively protect against ballistic threats. I ask you to focus first of all on air defense for Ukraine. We truly need it. 10 Patriot systems. The free world has them." Zelensky isn't wrong. Ukraine's allies do have Patriot defense systems they aren't handing over, but it doesn't have those systems to spare. Just a couple of days after asking for 10 Patriots, Zelensky made more news by saying that Ukraine was willing to spend big to get them. A staggering $15 billion was the offer Ukraine's president made, though US President Donald Trump ultimately said no. That showcases another challenge with the Patriots. The US has to approve every transfer of Patriot batteries and missiles, even if those weapon systems are owned by another country. In other words, the US had to sign off on the 6 batteries Ukraine has, along with the partial one provided by the Netherlands. This was seen in action again on May 11, when the US officially signed off on the transfer of 100 Patriot missiles from Germany to Ukraine. It's here where the Goggle-M comes into play. Ukraine's new mothership drone isn't a like-for-like replacement for Patriot missiles. Far from it. Patriots are air defense missiles that take out incoming threats in the skies, such as missiles. Goggle-M doesn't have that capability. If that's the case, How does Ukraine's new drone help address the Patriot shortage Zelensky keeps highlighting? The answer is simple. Goggle M complements Ukraine's air defense strategy by enabling preemptive strikes against the systems that launch those threats. Think about something Andrei highlighted about his drone's capabilities. It's able to sneak up on Russian targets and eliminate them when the opportunity presents itself. Aircraft were mentioned specifically, which raises some interesting possibilities. A Goggle M could sneak close to a Russian airbase and unleash its FPV drones to take out the aircraft Russia has been using to launch cruise missiles and glide bombs at Ukraine. Without its launch platforms available, Russia can no longer send hundreds of missiles per year flying into Ukraine. While Patriot systems remain essential for intercepting active threats, Goggle M may help reduce the number of launches, allowing Ukraine to focus the few Patriot missiles it has on the declining missiles Russia still manages to send while Goggle M is doing its work. It's also hard to ignore the cost factor here. A Patriot missile costs between $3 and $5 million, while a single Goggle M mothership costs $10,000. Add a couple of FPV drones to the Goggle M price, and the total cost is still unlikely to be hitting six figures. This low price point means Ukraine can unleash dozens of Goggle Ms for the cost of a single Patriot missile. And if these new drones are actually capable of taking out Russia's aircraft, as Andrei claims, then Goggle M could offer a highly effective offensive value at a lower cost, though it serves a very different purpose than the Patriot system. Ultimately, what this means for the war is that Ukraine has once again demonstrated how innovation is helping it to overcome the Russian threat. Euromaidan Press highlights that the emergence of Goggle M represents a major breakthrough in drone warfare. While China and the US have ongoing drone development programs, Ukraine appears to be among the first to deploy such systems in active combat. Both countries are trying to create something similar to what Andrei's team has built. However, many of their programs remain classified or in testing, whereas the Goggle M is already in production. And that's bad news for Russia. Andrei says that Strategy 4 Solutions is already building 50 Goggle Ms per month, along with 400 of the FPV drones loaded into the mothership. Plus, the software-centric approach Andrei's team took during development creates the possibility for Ukraine to utilize its new drones' capabilities elsewhere. That software is easy to adapt to new platforms, Andrei says, meaning Ukraine may unleash a horde of new AI-powered UAVs, unmanned boats, and even ground vehicles. As Forbes correspondent David Hamling puts it, the crucial first step, long-range autonomous drone delivery, has now been taken. It may be version 1.0, but it's already a problem for Russia. It's a problem that could spell doom for Russia's aircraft and air defense systems, especially as Ukraine builds on this technology. And build it will, because Ukraine, along with Russia, recognizes that drones are the key to winning the war. That's why Ukraine has a target of building 4.5 million drones per year by the end of 2025, with 96.3% of those drones being built domestically already. Russia is also making grand claims about how many drones it intends to build. On May 28, National Defense noted that Russia is also experimenting with using AI for terminal guidance and target identification by its drones. Like Ukraine, it's also ramping up production. According to some sources, Russia utilized up to 1.4 million drones in 2024 alone, and it's hoping to use far more in the coming years. The drone race is heating up. Right now, Ukraine appears to be winning. It's broken new ground on the use of AI in drones, and it's building more unmanned vehicles than Russia. The tide is swinging so much in Ukraine's favor on this front that any drone manufacturer from outside Ukraine that doesn't have a battlefield presence in Ukraine may as well give up. Why? Because Ukraine has become the proving ground for new drone technology. Any drones that it isn't using aren't up to the standard needed for current drone warfare, never mind the future. And it's ultimately the future that Putin needs to worry about. While Goggle M doesn't replace air defense systems like Patriot, it gives Ukraine a powerful new offensive tool to complement them. But that's just the immediate benefit this new drone offers. As time goes on, the AI systems the drone uses could be implemented at a wider scale in Ukraine's military. Each passing month could also bring new tweaks to that AI and the software it uses that makes Goggle M and the drones that follow in its wake even more deadly and effective. None of this means that Ukraine no longer wants Patriot missiles. It does, and it will use any that it can get to intercept Russia's missiles, especially as it's building up its Goggle-M stockpiles. But Putin now has to accept that there's a new threat, and one that he could never have anticipated in the war that he started. Ukraine is unleashing a silent killer onto the battlefield that's capable of flying deep into Russia and taking out the equipment Putin so heavily relies upon. If Russia can't respond, the game-changing Goggle-M could turn the tide of the war in Ukraine's favor. But what do you think about Goggle-M and the AI-driven technology that powers this new drone? Is the UAV really the massive leap forward that Ukraine needs it to be? How might Russia be able to respond to Goggle-M? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and remember to subscribe to The Military Show for more videos covering the latest news out of Ukraine, the Middle East, and other military conflicts around the globe.